thinking about moving overseas, leaving your home country behind, but you're just not sure how to get all your ducks in a row? Well, watch this video because I'm going to explain to you 3 things that you will need to do if you're deciding to move abroad. So let's go ahead and get into the intro. Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me now as I'm go 9 years in the game of being an expat. Left the United States in 2015. I am on my 3rd continent, 4th country. And one of the things that's been beautiful about it is I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. And so I decided why not start sharing some of those things with you to help your transition as you're deciding to move overseas a lot simpler and easier. And so let's go ahead and get into today's video. So what are the 3 things that you need, when you're about to move overseas, or if you're even just thinking about moving overseas? These are the 3 areas you're going to. So I'm talking about people who are actually looking to get a visa, meaning you're going to be legally in the country, you're going to become a resident of the country. Like I'm a permanent resident of Zambia. And so you're going to actually be living in the country most likely full-time or majority of your time. And so if you're someone like this, one thing I've noticed that there's not a lot of people talking about this information. A lot of people tell you about, go to this country, do this, do that, but they don't really talk to you about how should you start assimilating yourself into the country. Yes, there's a little bit of it that's good about being outside of the culture of the country you're going to, because there's certain things that don't stress you out as much. But there are things that you crucially need to assimilate to, because if not, you're going to be missing out on benefits of being in your new country. And so the first one is, and this is mainly for my Americans here. Notice most people everywhere else, they're comfortable with using this, but for some reason the United States just haven't got on the board on it of this like other places have, and that is WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a communication tool. It's a way to text. It's the way to call. You can video call on it, and it's an encrypted end from one end to another, meaning no one's supposed to be able to see your messages. The reason why I say if you're an American, you want to start getting used to this and downloading it now, even before you leave, is this is going to be the main way you communicate with people when you go overseas. For me, Panama, Colombia, even when I was in London, I was using WhatsApp. I've used it, let me see, Amsterdam, I was using WhatsApp. It was a way to communicate with Uber drivers. It was just a very simple way, even doing business, getting things delivered. I was able to talk to them in WhatsApp. And when I first made it to Panama, I didn't know what WhatsApp was, to be honest with you. And so it was a culture shock for me. It took me, I was in it running and just had to figure it out on the go. And so I would say it's very good if you familiarize yourself with it now. Also start getting your family used to using it, communicating on it, because that's going to be your best means of communication with people back overseas. And I also even see if some of the businesses that you're paying bills with and stuff, some of your banking, see if even some of them have WhatsApp lines, because here you can get a lot of things done. Even though I'm in South Africa, Zambia, Botswana, you can get a lot of things, Colombia, Panama, you can get a lot of things done just by using WhatsApp and communicating with people. So please do not sleep on this, and this is going to be something very crucial. Because imagine if you got a place that you rented and you came into the airport and it's nighttime or something, and you don't have a SIM card in the new country to get data and stuff like that. You're able to just go into the airport's free Wi-Fi, and you can go on WhatsApp, and you can actually communicate with maybe your Airbnb host, the hotel, anyone that you may know, to get you back and forth to where you're taken care of. So it's something that I really highly recommend, and this is why I talked about this one first. WhatsApp is very crucial if you plan on moving overseas, or living a large amount of your time overseas. You're going to have to use this one. And so then the second one is, and this is once you're in country after you have your visa, and this is something, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't take advantage of this when I was in Panama. I was so busy in that retirement mode, and there was no one on YouTube or anyone that I knew, especially black, that could even talk to me about leaving the United States to go retire, especially doing it in their early 30s. And so because of that, I just had to learn everything on my own. So like I was very adamant on just using my U.S. bank account, whatever fees I gotta pay, whatever. And one of the things that I kept running into is I kept having issues with fraudulent alerts, things like that. Some countries are worse than others, some are better, but like it just kept having issues with it. And every time you got to get a new debit card sent to you overseas, which can take, up to even a month, depending on how far you are. You have to start looking at that, and then you're also paying extra fees whenever you got to get the new debit card because you got to send it overseas. So start looking at those things like that. And so, like, that's why I recommend that you need to get a bank account as soon as you have your visa and all your paperwork in order and you're legally a resident of the country. Get into the bank account system, get into the banking system there. I really love the banking system here in Africa. Like for Zambia, I use FNB, which I believe stands for First National Bank. Um, they're really good. I'm at it. They're VIP Premier Bank. So like you can only go in their office if you have an account. So it's less lines. Like all of these perks and advantages. So like if you're gonna come to another country, make sure your money's multiplying, and then also make sure you're taking advantage of that multiplication of your money. Uh, don't just get into super spender mode where you're just spending, spending, spending. Like make your money start making money for you. So like in FNB, I believe I get a 6% interest annually. Um, or I think it's company. I can't even remember. I don't even pay attention to it. I just put money in there and leave it in there, or just use it whenever I need it for AliExpress. Second reason why you want to get a bank account: some countries that you're in, because they deal business with certain countries, your home country may have restrictions against. So, like for me as an American, sometimes it's hard to use my regular card with Chinese-based companies, such as AliExpress. Like my regular American bank card will never go through; it's always an issue. And so that's one other reason I have an actual bank account in Zambia. I can use my bank card there with doing transactions with any Chinese businesses. So that comes in handy. So think about that too. Like if you're going to be living maybe in the southern region of Africa, you will have an opportunity to buy a lot of things from China, and they're pretty affordable also. Like these headbone earphones here. I had bought these from AliExpress, and I bought a few other things from there too. So that's one of the things you need to look into with your bank account, because some countries it's just a lot more difficult using your bank card than others. Like Colombia was one of them. Some ATMs in Colombia I was able to use, some of them I couldn't. I think I mainly used, I believe it's APSA Bank, um, Banco Colombia, Banco Colombia, and then there was one more bank that I used to use, but I can't remember the name of it because a lot of other ones I would have issues with trying to get money out. So definitely make sure you get a bank account. Just open up a savings account or something. Make sure you're taking advantage of the interest rate in that country. And then the other reason why you want to do a bank account also, which is going to also tie into part number 3. The other reason you want to do a bank account is you want to start saving in the currency that you're in. Like, there's a little bit of it. Like, I don't think people truly understand the power of multiplication, because when you're going to a country where your currency multiplies more, you're actually your money stretches a lot farther. And what I mean by that, even if you're saving, like let's say if you're saving $100 US in a month in Zambia, that's almost seven. No, that's 26,000 kwacha a month. So what's that about? Almost 300,000. No, not 300,000. So that's times 10. That'll be, yeah, that is a lot of shit. That'd be almost 300,000 kwacha that you can save. No, not 300. I'm thinking of 1,000. I should edit this out, but I'm gonna tell you I'm not. And I have my other phone to be doing all my calculations. So let's say if you're saving $1,000 a year in Zambia, that's 17,000 kwacha. That is good money. Like if everyone was able to save that amount of money, it would change a lot in their people's everyday life. So like, don't look down on saving small amounts in a different currency because it can probably multiply a lot further. I guess that's the proper way to say it. Um, so that's one of the things I do. Like I do village banking, and also like I'm doing the Prudential life insurance. So all this is just different forms of banking there. So make sure you really get yourself literate into the banking system of the country that you plan on moving to or spending majority of your time, because you definitely should be taking advantage of any type of interest, any type of multiplication added extra on your money. And then the last one is, and this is one I haven't, I'm being honest with you, I've never heard anybody talk about this one. I hear a lot of people on the internet talking about setting up businesses in these different countries, but I never hear people talk about this. And the thing is, you want to get a tax identification number. Look, just because you're moving to another country doesn't mean they don't have the same legal statutes as your home country. Don't just throw a bunch of money into a business. I don't care if you're the best chef in the world. Don't just go buy a building. You're doing all of these things. Like, you don't even know if you're operating legally as a business. Like, you need to have a tax identification number. You need to be doing things legally. This is why I said in the beginning, like, I'm talking to people who are talking about getting visas. Like, people who are going to truly move to another society. Like, people who, you're just trying to take advantage of the economic situation of your money multiplying. And when you can do that, like, you're doing everything legally. So you need to get a tax identification number. Like, even I have a tax identification number for Zambia. I actually did it before I got my bank account. And so with the tax identification number, any businesses that I set up in PACRA that I register, it'll be under that number. Any things that I need to do corporate wise, like I'm end up making a holding company to put all the land that I acquired under that company. Like, really think about this. If you're going to be leaving your home country to live a better life, live the best life possible. Take advantage of these things and do everything right. Do not cut corners. Please hear me on that. Do not cut corners. Like, sometimes when you hear a lot of these people talking about these horror stories of businesses being set up in certain countries, you gotta ask them, like, why you didn't have certain provisions in place. Like, why weren't there certain things to make sure you were safer in business in place? Like, you cannot just throw money at a situation. So legally be able to own a business. Even if you come in under a retirement visa in Zambia, you're still allowed to own a business. You're just not allowed to work that business. So since I came in through a retirement visa, I'm opening up businesses. I'm just not working those businesses. And so really start changing your mindset and looking at that. And just a caveat that I didn't even put right down to write this. Start studying some of your corporate law structures in your home country. Most corporate law books are pretty similar. It's not much different around the world, unless maybe you go to some North Korea or something crazy like that. But most average companies, and like when I went to PACRA to ask questions about setting up the business, it was the same way in Zambia. They had a corporate and they had a regular. And so start learning the corporate. It's going to be probably a lot less expensive for you to set up a corporation overseas, especially in some of this SADC region. That's one other reason why I don't want to leave this region yet. And also study the corporation tax law so you can just be a little bit knowledgeable on what to expect. So some things may not say the same wordage as what you're used to in your home country, but as you're reading it, you can say like, oh, okay, this is what they mean. Like, so start studying those things. Like, one of the things that you don't get to see behind the scenes is you don't see me studying real estate videos, going to seminars, doing all these different things, even going to tax webinars and things to try to learn what's new. What type of businesses can I use? How can I write off my house? How can I write off my car? Like, you can still do those same things outside of the United States also. And so do not just sleep on that, please, because these things are very crucial, very important, and this is how you do generational wealth. I'm telling you right now, everyone that I've met who threw money at a situation, and then God forbid something happened to them or they passed away while they was overseas, most of their stuff was stolen. And when by the time their family came, there was nothing in place to protect them legally. And so do this. Like, make sure you're protecting yourself legally. Like, yes, it's a great thing to move to a foreign country. It's a great thing to invest in their economy. It's a great thing to build businesses there and employ people. But you know what also is a great thing? To pass down generational wealth, not to have those things stolen from you. So do things legally and by the book, and do the things that's going to actually protect you in the long run in the court of law. And like I say, this SADC region is a very judicial friendly region, meaning the laws are the laws, and you have rights here. Like, you keep hearing a lot of people from talk about when they talk about Dominican Republic or Thailand or some of these other countries, like they talking about nationalism. Nationalism trumps freedom, meaning you as a free person traveling in their country, you do not ever have the rights of a national person born in that country. You will lose every time. It will cost you. So you might as well start looking into these countries where it's judicial countries. The law is the law. Like, you have rights. And that's one of the things that I love about South Africa, I love about Botswana, and I also love about Zambia. You have rights as a person. And so make sure you really look into that. And then, that's it for today. If there's any questions or comments, just leave them down below. And also, if you made it this far in the video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you know someone who keeps talking about travel, share this video with them. Maybe it'll put that fire on them so they can see, like, hey man, I can do this. Let's go and do this. So make sure you share it with someone also. And also just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.